But then maybe the next week they brought him up. Now the gift cycle is done. And then they gave him some love and they said, oh, right now, how do I talk about love? I gotta find something else. We have to be even. And culture like it's something, I don't.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm the first generation United States of America, and he's the second generation. And I would, ask you to pay more attention because of my accent. But we were hopeful as a Turkish American community. We have a growing community here in Houston, here in Texas, here in 6 states, and very well-educated community. I'm, so grateful for that. It's really my honor to stand before you for a good cause for tonight. We are here because our people from Turkey and Bosnia need us. We are here because we are human beings and we feel the pain. After the disasters happened in Turkey and Bosnia, as the Turkish American community, we immediately started a monetary campaign for the victims. And my sincere sympathy goes to the families of the miners and our Bosnian friends. I'm the regional director for Embrace Relief. Just a brief info about our newly formed aid organization, which is Embrace Relief in the nation. Our mission is to coordinate and provide the necessities and sustenance that disadvantaged and disaster-stricken individuals would otherwise have little to no other means to obtain, such as food, housing, education, skill training, counseling, clothing, school supplies, etc. We used to have Raindrop helping hands, and as the Turkish American community, we would like to unite all the aid organizations under one big umbrella that's called the Embrace Relief, and we do have like 6 big regional representatives under Embrace Relief, which were working through the charity functions. We as the Turkish American community work very closely for the Soma mining disaster campaign and Bosnia flood campaign with Embrace Relief. Our areas of work could be disaster relief, health, and clean water well projects, helping orphans, food donations, and education. We have the brochure outside for Embrace Relief, and you guys know us for so many years, and I do appreciate all the dignitaries who came for a good cause, who are attending, like Dr. Alma Allen and Mike Lester and Judge J. Carhan, and also we have a representative from the State Central Office, Jeremy Brown, and also all other dignitaries. We really appreciate your attention to the matter, and thank you for being here. I hope that we're going to have a fruitful meeting all together for a good cause. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okush, for your welcome remarks. As I mentioned earlier, we gathered here not only for Turkey but for Bosnia as well. At this time, I would like to invite the board member of the Bosniak Community Center, Ahmet Kudica.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
I just want to thank you all for coming tonight. Thanks for coming this great event. We are very young, the growing community of Bosniaks in Houston, and we feel really proud and fortunate to live among such caring people like you are. And as you all know, last couple of weeks have been extremely painful for our community. We went through one of the most painful disasters that happened in recent history in our region. So many people felt abandoned and that they lost everything that they had during their life, and many of them need your support. So I would really appreciate even prayer would really be helpful for these people. As I said, we are such a small community, probably not visible here in Houston, that really proud to live alongside you all, and I hope you will help us. Thanks.
And I was born and raised in Soma until my high school. And I came to the United States in 2006 and got my undergrad degree in the United States. And I've been working 2.5 years in Harvard Public Schools as an accountant. So I went to Soma for my vacation this summer. It was on May 7th. And it was on Friday. I remember that day. So by the time, on Tuesday, which has happened, the disaster, mining disaster on 13th, we were get together with my family at one of the restaurants. It was on Main Street. It can take you to the mining site, where was the mining disaster happened. Suddenly, we saw the breaking news on the TVs, the mining disaster in Soma, and it was just a shock. And by the time I was hearing the ambulance horning, policemen, police officers was going there. And we didn't realize that, until we heard the noises ambulances. But later all night we didn't sleep until 6 a.m. in the morning. We were waiting, what's gonna happen, how many people's dead, And we realized that, one of our two our relatives from my mom's side, they were dead in the morning. And my uncle came to our house, and he gave the bad news. And later, our neighbor, who helped a lot, during my sister's wedding ceremony, and which is my father friend's son. And that was the moment, especially stress, to explain, how hard. I saw the first time my father's cried when he got that news. They were we were actually waiting for at least good news. Maybe he was alive, because there were two brothers, and luckily one of them the shifts, two different shifts, but one of them was taken. His name was Osman. That was a bad moment. That's what I had experience in Soma. Before, when you come here, people ask you where you're from, and you tell them Turkey, and if they go to Turkey and they're trying to know specifically where you're from. And I was I used to tell I'm from Manisa, Soma, but kind of Izmir. Izmir is better than known Soma, because nobody knows Soma anymore. Just elementary schools, they know they can call. They're producing coal, that's it. But not in the international, in the United States, they don't know it. Well, that area knows Soma right now. I wish it would be known as it used to be, but now, no, but bad reputation. Sad, but true. I will pray for them. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Saliha Avdic, and I'm from Bosnia. My city was flooded, and I was hoping that I will never experience what I have experienced 20 years ago when it was a war. my family, friends, we all were torn apart. We ended up all over the world, from North to South America, Canada, Asia, Australia, Africa, everywhere. And like Mr. Gudia mentioned, this was the last few weeks, it was the worst in our life after the war. I learned through Facebook, as everybody, driving in the morning to work, that something happened in my city. And one of my close family members saying that she has a 6-month-old baby. She was saying, I'm separated from my baby. My gosh, what's gonna happen to him? She was still breastfeeding that baby. And I kind of sent her a quick message on Messenger and said, what's going on, sister? She was like, you never heard yet? I was like, yeah, it's a morning, 7 o'clock, I'm heading to work, you know? She said, well, flood hit the dog. I was like, flood, what? She said, remember, 1965, 66 was a flood. Actually, 48, I'm sorry. So exactly 46 years ago, the same day, same week, flood hit my city again. According to witnesses and according to my parents and close family members, they told me it was the worst. People were not prepared. We thought that the war was the worst what happened to us, so we kind of, tried to live a little bit laid back life, get whatever we can, build new houses, bring our families back. But this happened again to us. People, they work after the war, whoever survived the war, and whatever they had and whatever they worked in the last 22 years, they lost again. There was the worst flood that happened in the Balkan in the last 120 years. My city, Doboj, it's in the northern part of Bosnia. Born and raised and finished my school until I moved here as a refugee. And I found Houston as a home, second home, away from home. My older daughter, she's a student in Texas University, San Marcos. My younger daughter, she's here, also born in Houston. But still, that's my close family, but my parents and everyone was there. So I was thinking, at least during the war, I was with the family members, with my grandparents, my uncles, aunts, father, mother, in-laws. Now we're far away, and just our prayer will be the only way to help them. City of Doboj is a beautiful city. We have a song about Doboj. They said, the city of Doboj lays on 3 rivers in my heart. But we're never expecting that 3 rivers will kill the Doboj. 3 beautiful rivers, Usra, Spreča, and Bosna. It took more than 20 lives. We lost our valuable people from our communities over there. I would like to just thank to all of you for coming here and supporting 300 miners that lost their lives in Soma. Behind the 300 miners, there is more than 300 families, children's, wives, fathers, and they were bread makers. I would like to thank you also for coming and supporting Bosnia, because this is the moment after the war which took place back in early 90s. This is the time that Bosnia really needs your help. My city, Doboj, was one who was hit the most in northern Bosnia. They used to be the second largest city in railway. There was not, whenever you go, you can go from there to Slovenia, to Serbia, to Sarajevo, our capital city. You can go to Budapest. Anyway, you just take a train and enjoy the ride. I'm sure in a long time, my people, they were not going to be able to do that again. Whatever we were able to rebuild after the war, now it's gone. Some of my friends, they were making joke and they said, what's the fashion, like fashion, match this summer in the Doughboy. I was like, what? They said, face mask. Because there's so much stench and dirt that came in with the water. Water was high up to 6 meters. So it was like up to 3rd floor of some buildings where people were living. They said it's so dirty, it's so dusty. So just imagine all their furniture, everything they had, it's gone. And walls in Bosnia and in my city, they're not just built like here, so let's cut, dry, and let's go from there. It is like, brick, stones, and that's really hard to dry now. It's so much, mold inside, and so I don't know, can you imagine just how it's to live right now there? It's just disaster. I talk to my parents every day and ask them how they do. They were like, we live day by day. We go to store to get the water because we cannot get the water anywhere else. Even though like Red Cross and all other agencies, they're sending a help, most of them they were held at some point for check, so they're not in the people's hand yet. I asked my parents, can you come over here? They told me no. Why? And I understand, because from this point, I would like to be like a bird that I can fly and be with them over there. I'm homesick, and I'm even more homesick at this point when I know they need the help, and I'm far from them. Kids are not going to school. They haven't finished their school year. A lot of graduates, they didn't attend their graduation party. And they're not going to be able in a while. So life is, I would say, worse than war. If you'd like to see more, you may go to YouTube, and there is some video clips about disaster flood in Bosnia, and my city is Doboj, D-O-B-O-J, and you will see all motives and details. I mean, there is no word to explain how it's done. Again, thank you very much to everybody for attending this event tonight, and I hope next time we'll be gathering some better event than what we're doing tonight. Thank you again.
Dear friends, on behalf of the state of Texas and the constituents of Senate District 13, I am pleased to commend the efforts of Raindrop Foundation and Embrace Relief for hosting this fundraising reception. This benefit will assist in the relief efforts for the victims of the mining disaster in Turkey and the flood in Bosnia. On May 13th, a fire started on a coal mine in western Turkey and claimed the lives of nearly 300 miners. It is claimed to be the deadliest industrial disaster in Turkey's history. Only days after this disaster, Bosnia faced the heaviest rains and worst floods since rainfall measurements began 120 years ago. The flood caused many deaths, and as many as 500,000 people have been displaced. This is why events like this are important, to not only raise money, but to continue to raise awareness to support our brothers and sisters in need. Again, I would like to thank the Raindrop Foundation and Embrace Relief, as well as the other supporters of this event, for playing a role in the rebuilding process in light of these two disasters by hosting this event. Thank you sincerely, right now.
I'm glad to be with you today, even though this is a semi-sad occasion. What we learned today is that we are our brother's keeper. We learned that the world is very small. That families lost fathers in the mine, those members of the families that brought home the bacon for the family, and now they're gone. It will take a long time to recover. Many of those families will have no father. Some will have the orphans and will suffer the consequences of losing their breadwinner in the family. In Houston, we know all too well the consequences of a flood. So in Bosnia, we see the flood there. I'm a native Houstonian. I've seen Houston under 15, 20 feet of water. Yesterday, it was Bosnia. Tomorrow, it could be us. And so we must help our brothers and our sisters. And so it is my pleasure today, and I have ordered a check from my office to come and to support the people of Bosnia and the people of Turkey. In District 131, where we sit now, this is my state representative district. Turkish community has been very, very good to me. And now it is time to give back. And so with that in mind, I have ordered a check for $500 for the coffer to support the people of Turkey and Bosnia. Thank you.
Good evening. 1 month ago today, the 13th of May, this terrible disaster struck Soma, and a few days later we have the disastrous floods in Bosnia, and we are here as a community to give support to both the communities there. As Representative has reminded us, we in Houston have been flooded, and we've also been hit by big storms, and I recall very, very vividly how people from all over the country came here to Houston with machines and trucks and saws and money and sweat labor and sweat equity, and they came in and they helped dig us out, and they helped put our infrastructure back together. And I'm so grateful for those that helped us when we were in our need. I can only imagine how grateful the folks are and who will be in Soma and Bosnia when they receive our benefit and the contributions that we can all put together through Raindrop and through Embrace. So I'm very proud to be part of that. And I too have bought a check from my office holder account, and I put it in the bowl tonight. I was trying to think, it was about a month ago when I got the news of this. My father is in Antalya. He'll be 89 years old in February. And I'm trying to imagine what it would be like as a young boy to watch my father go off to work one day, as I often did every day, and not see him come home that night. That's just unimaginable to me. I just can't imagine what that would be like. And I also think about how when a tragedy strikes, how ripples flow from that tragedy that we can't even count today. I can think of right now that the infrastructure is going to have to be rebuilt in both places, especially in Bosnia. Families are going to have to be given some help to get back on their feet and feed their children and get them to move forward from that fateful day. But there are people who are feeling great sad feelings about this, and there's a thing called post-traumatic stress disorder that these people are going to be feeling for years and decades, and they will need help from that as well. So I hope you'll join me in trying to imagine what it would be like and what the needs might be over the long term as well as the short term. And I know that we're a generous, loving community, and I'm so proud to be part of this community, to see so many people come out for this. God bless both of those communities, and God bless you for being here.
It is an honor to be with you this evening as we take time to grieve as a community. I've had numerous occasions to come to this great house, this great facility, on moments of joy. And before I go too far, let me just extend the condolences of my colleague, Councilmember Larry Green, in whose district this magnificent facility sits and serves. I know he would wish to be with you this evening, but for other conflicts could not be. Actually, District J, which I represent, is just immediately to the north, across the street. Together, we are home to virtually every community from every corner of this globe. Represented, we have by all accounts, anywhere 65 to 70 different language groups. We are literally the Ellis Island of this city. It's been my experience in working with Mehmet and the wonderful, hospitably wonderful Turkish community who helped me in my own personal voyage to Istanbul just at Christmas time, experience the hospitality of what Turkey is about, and to witness the Turkish community here in this city, how well you have done and how well you have been blessed.
Yes.
In large part, being called here out of opportunity. It's also a profound honor for me always to remind those outside of Sharpstown and outside of this part of town that it was this part of their city in which the Bosnian community found refuge 10 years plus ago. And of course, their story was a little more tragic, but yet refuge they found here. And yet today we're not able to quite enjoy the happiness that we usually have in these great halls here. But we are able to be called together as brothers and sisters, united for a common cause. It's my honor to be able to leave a small personal gift for this effort, and I want to thank all of the communities here. And if anything, maybe what we should be doing tonight is to count our own blessings. That by the grace of God, we have found ourselves in a place that has blessed us with honor and riches and opportunity and family. And by the grace of God, we have found peace in a way that was unknown in a part of the world. And by that grace, we can now do the work of restoration for Bosnia and the work of restoration for Turkey. And we can do that as brothers and sisters united together for good. God bless you all.
Now it is the time to help the families of the victims. The time is now, as soon as possible. So I would like to re-invite Mr. Mehmet for his closing remarks.
Well, distinguished guests, again, when we planned this one, we said this is going to be also acknowledgement on our side how much we have raised for Bosnian flood victims and Soma mining disaster. At the beginning of the campaign, we had a goal in the nationwide again, as the Embrace Relief, to raise $120,000 for Soma mining disasters. And guess what? We have raised $132,000. And also for our Bosnian friends, we set the goal of $40,000 raising money, and we were able to raise $42,000 for our Bosnian friends. And also, again, this is the first time that we are having such a fundraising reception, and we have put, the paper on your chair, and from our College Station friends, they were able to raise $400. I have it over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they said, let's go ahead and split into two, 200 for Bosnian flood victims and 200 for the Soma mining disaster. And also we have visited one of our Albanian friends last week, and I asked him to come and join us. He said, Mehmet, why don't you go ahead and take this donation just to be on the safe side, to sure. He's not able to come and join us, but he said, here's my $200, and please share this with Bosnian friends, 100 and 100. And while a student was leaving, like she is, I guess, the 5th grade student, she said, I would like to donate $20 for the Bosnian victims, and 20 right here. Again, I have seen some of you guys already make your donation, and the desk is outside, again, for a good cause. And thank you so much for your attendance. We are going to deliver all the money that we have collected to the Embrace Relief. And for your information, they have a couple of projects. Number one is maybe building a house. It costs like $43,000. Another way that they can contribute is raising an orphan, and the other one is contributing a student's expenses in Turkey, and they said like a 1,500 Turkish lira. It's about $750. And also, we may want to invite some of the students to America to come and educate them in here. And again, there are a couple of options that we are working on. As soon as they make the decision, and we will let you know. Okay. Again, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate that. As you mentioned, we always gather here, for the celebration. I guess, and still, I'm so thankful that it's the hard times are we gonna able to gather together. So this is the hard time, and you came here on your Friday, and thank you so much. If you would like to make some donations, our friends are waiting right after the door. It's on the right side. Again, thank you so much.